Your The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us for our webcast today. We'll be presenting PTC System Monitor and Windchill ISO 9001:2015 compliance. I'm Matt Tagnarelli, and I will be your moderator today. Jayesh Kulkarni and Nishant Kapoor will be our presenters today for the webcast. Jayesh will present the PTC System Monitor, and Nishant will be presenting Windchill 9001:2015 compliance. We'll begin with a brief BWI intro, who we are, how we help manufacturers with solutions across the product lifecycle. Then we'll go right into the presentation around PTC System Monitor, along with a live demo, and then go into Windchill ISO 9001:2015 compliance. And at the end, we will wrap up with a Q&A to answer any questions you may have throughout the webcast. You're all currently in listen-only mode, but you can write in questions, like I said, throughout the webinar, and we'll make sure we answer them at the end of the broadcast. Barry-Wehmiller International is a division of Barry-Wehmiller, a $2.4 billion global organization that provides capital equipment, engineering, and IT consulting for a diverse array of industries. With more than 130 years of manufacturing experience, Barry-Wehmiller has a rich blend of capabilities and legacies of more than 80-plus businesses, united by the company's strong values, innovation, service, and fierce commitment to people whose lives we touch through the course of our business. Barry-Wehmiller continues to grow rapidly with more than 11,000 team members in 100-plus locations worldwide, servicing customers in all corners of the world. Barry-Wehmiller International is the global provider of business and technology solutions to mid-market manufacturing domain. Our unique business expertise and consultative services, while having a strong local presence located to meet clients' needs throughout the U.S., Europe, the Middle East, Asia Pacific. BWI offers world-class engineering, enterprise, IT, and application managed services solutions that enable its clients to achieve a competitive edge in their marketplace. Our global headquarters is located in Atlanta, Georgia, with additional offices throughout North America, Europe, and India. Barry-Wehmiller has a rich manufacturing legacy tracing back to 1885, serving all sizes of businesses ranging from small and mid-sized to Fortune 1000 manufacturers. We provide solutions for a diverse group of customers spanning the globe in Europe, Asia, and the U.S., from small companies to large household names and everything in between. We have a couple of quick poll questions here real quick, and then I will hand it over to Jayesh, and he will do the presentation on PTC System Monitor. First question is, are you currently using PTC System Monitor? All right, thank you. Next question, is your company currently ISO certified? All righty, and our final question here. Are you planning on updating your ISO certification? All righty. Thank you all very much. And now I am going to hand it over to Jayesh. Jayesh, I'm going to make you the presenter here. Jayesh, you should have the ball. All right, we can see your screen.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to, yeah. Today we are going to see PTC System Monitor. So I can see, like, most of you are not familiar, or most of you are not using the PTC System Monitor, and probably we are going to cover the basic things, like why we need PTC System Monitor, what exactly it does, and what's the use of using the PTC System Monitor. Okay, so let's get started. Basically, this is the normal administrator life in any of the organization. Like, he has to deal with a couple of things every day. Like, we can categorize it in two different areas. First is working with PTC technical support, or any of your vendor who is currently supporting your Windchill application. And the second one is look into your system monitoring, system health. So these are the two broad categories, and when we go into details about the each and every category, we find that by saying system monitoring or by checking the server health, what we mean is administrator have to check the disk space, he has to monitor the memory. We also know, like, we usually get the JMX alerts from the Windchill application, like any particular queue is failing, or queue entries are stalled, or workflow entries are stalled, and or any of your method server is crashed, or background method server is crashed. So all those things has been covered by JMX alerts, which Windchill sends us. The next thing is, like, the administrator normally monitors the user activity and supports the end user. So many of the occasions, like, administrator come up with the problems from the users saying, hey, my Windchill is not responding in a timely fashion. Like, if I'm creating any particular object, it is taking far amount of time than it is expected. Like, if suppose it is expected to take around 20 seconds, but it is taking 50 seconds or so. So in order to deal with these complaints, we basically deal with the PTC. Most of the time what we do is we open a PTC technical support call, and we explain the issue to them. So the very common, or the very first troubleshooting technique from PTC is they ask the customer to reproduce the issue. And sometimes the issue will be reproducible, sometimes it will not, because it's not the consistent fashion the issue is occurring. It may take some time, or it may take some different set of actions to reproduce the issue, and we are not sure, like, there are no fixed steps or states like we can reproduce the issue by these particular steps. So many of the situations we face such issue. And while working with PTC technical support, we usually come across the solution where they will ask us to enable the loggers. Then we have to send the files back and forth. They will look into the file, they will do their analysis, and then they will come up with the solution. So this is the normal day-to-day functioning of the administrator who is responsible for supporting your Windchill in your organization. So most of the time they are dealing with either with the PTC technical support, or either with the users that they are facing the issues. So PTC System Monitor comes with the solution in order to soothe both of the things. Like, PTC System Monitor will be work with both of the things, and will do the job of administrator easy. So how it is going to perform or how it works, that we are going to cover here. So PTC System Monitor, shortly called as PSM. So it's a Dynatrace module, and that Dynatrace module, it works both with the PLM as well as ALM. In PLM, it works with Windchill. In ALM software suite, it works with Integrity, and it basically used to know like how the system is behaving. Is my system is under threshold, or is my system is going to crash, or is my users are facing any issues or any performance issues? Those things can be tracked with PTC System Monitor. PTC System Monitor provides administrators the power to detect, diagnose, and repair problem without impacting the current operation of your Windchill. Means if you have PSM in place, then you don't need to reproduce the issue, because the time when the issue is reproduced, that particular transaction is captured into the PSM, and just by going into the timestamp, we can drill down to the particular operation, and from that operation we can easily diagnose what exactly is the problem and what exactly is the issue with the current operation of the Windchill or any software suite that PTC is providing. And the most important thing is this module or this package is free of cost. It comes as a part of your maintenance contract, and it does not require any additional licenses, which is pretty cool. When we say like it does not need any license, so it's a part of the story. For most of the transactions, it doesn't, means the functionality that comes out of the box with PSM, it does not need the licenses, and it actually monitors and diagnoses your Windchill ALM or PLM applications. But if you want to track down the particular user transaction through the browser, or if you want to, if you want to troubleshoot, like if there are any network issues, or if there are any browser specific issues, or if there are any user specific browser issues, then for that thing, there is additional model that is called user experience module, which comes as a licensed one. But that module is, it's an advanced module. So as of now, like for a basic troubleshooting and basic diagnosis, we don't really need that module. Once we are familiar, or once we are expert in PTC System Monitor, the out of the box module, then probably we can think of going into the additional cost of the license, and we can take the UEM. The UEM license is provided by Dynatrace. So in order to get that license, we have to contact Dynatrace, and from there we can get the license. But for the basic operations and for the basic troubleshooting thing, we don't need any license. Let's discuss some major features that PSM provides and its business value. So as you can say, like PSM is easy to install. It is configured easily with Windchill and other PTC products like Integrity. So the business value what we are getting is like, it's easily deployable. We can deploy the PTC System Monitor in less than 2 hours, which is a good thing. We don't need additional downtime or extra downtime for configuring the PTC System Monitor. It hardly takes, even if you consider deploying it during your normal business hours, it will hardly take 10 minutes to deploy it on your production system. To configure the server, to configure all the PSM modules, it will take 2 hours, but the downtime for your Windchill server will be not more than 10 minutes. The second feature is always on monitoring. So the PSM has got capability of monitoring the system health. We can configure the alerts. We can also configure the SMTP, that is email servers. So if any particular threshold is reached or any action is triggered, then it will send administrator the notification about that event. So the main advantage of this thing is instead of being reactive, we will be proactive. So instead of waiting for any event to happen, we can always track down that event, and we can we can minimize the impact of that particular event. Next thing is the diagnosis. We can get deep visibility into code level, and we can we can troubleshoot, and we can get the resolution of any particular problem very easily. So how we are going to diagnose it, I'm going to cover it in the last one is reporting. We can generate the reports. It will be same as what Windchill provides, but with the more detailed information inside it. Also, we can automate those reports so that if your management wants particular report, every Wednesday of the week they get that. So that's the messages or the main feature of the PSM. See, there are different suites of the PTC product family, including Windchill, Flex PLM, or Integrity, or any ALM software that PTC supports. All those things or all those applications will be coming under the PTC System Monitor coverage. Then we can, with the additional cost or with the additional license, we can track down through the web browser, we can track down the particular user browser issues and user activities, browser activities, like what they are doing, how their workspace is performing, what is the performance that the user is experiencing. Is there any particular some issues where it is completely related to one particular user? So that thing will be easily monitored with the help of additional module, that is UEM, User Experience Monitor, and that as I already covered, that will be add-on from Dynatrace. So these are some features of PSM which is configurable at runtime. We have to set the PSM server. It will take only 5 to 10 minutes of downtime for your Windchill or PTC application to be configured with the PSM server. It has got dashboards. PTC provided the out-of-the-box dashboards, and what exactly are the dashboards that we are going to see into the demo portion. These are some of the features of and the capabilities. First thing is dashboard gradation of performing, whether there is any issue with the current operation of the application. this will not take more than 20 milliseconds. So that is one that will be configured in your PSM side. So when users are checking the objects into the Windchill, it will that event will be triggered and it will monitor whether the check-in operation is performing or taking place within 20 milliseconds. If the threshold is reached, if for a particular user the check-in operation took 30 or 40 or 50, whatever is the amount, then it is going to trigger an alert and it is going to notify the administrator that this particular operation has taken more time than the expected. So that administrator in that case can go to the particular event and drill down to the operation, and he can easily recognize like what exactly is the problem, and it will be easy for him to apply the fix for that problem. Next thing is sensor. So the sensors are placed for each Java processes, means it will monitor all the Java processes that are performing on your application server. So, and it will give us the database point of view as well as the code level debugging capabilities. So that thing we can, I will show you into the demo part so that it will be much clearer for you. So these are the main capabilities of PSM: monitoring, reporting, and the sensors. So the next thing is smart alerts. So whenever PSM sends any notification to the administrator or the person who is intended to receive that alerts, if that particular issue is the known issue and if the help is available on PTC website, on the PTC support portal, then in the email itself, it will give you the useful reference material, and when you click on that, it will directly go to the PTC support center and it will give us the solution on that problem. So those are the smart alerts that come up with the PSM. So as you can see here, the PSM alerts, it gives us the information about on which server the problem happened, what was the threshold for that, what is the warning threshold of that, what exactly is the issue, and with the help of useful reference material, we can go to the PTC site and get to know the resolution of that problem. So with the help of smart alerts, the time to resolution for the issue will be lesser. The main and most important advantage of having PSM is reduction in diagnosis time. So it will give us the transaction flow for a particular request, and with that flow we can get to know like which portion contributed most of the time and most of resources, and based on that we can drill down to the particular issue and we can fix that. So in this case, as we can see, web request, it hit to the servlet engine, and servlet engine contributed almost 0.3%. The next time it went to the method server, it contributed less than 1%. And if you can see the database portion, it contributed almost 98%. So we can get to know database is the thing which needs to be tuned and which needs the attention, and based on that we can go to the and we can get to know what query has been fired, and accordingly we can fix that issue. So as I previously mentioned, most of the time working with PTC, most of the time they will ask us to reproduce the issue, to restart the server multiple times. So that thing is completely, reduced in with the help of PSM. So ultimately, the time to resolution for any problem will be minimized. So let's move to the demo portion. I have configured PSM on my local system, and as you can see, first we will go to the monitoring. So as you can see, this is the profile that has been generated, and all my transaction has been covered inside PTC Windchill 10x default profile. So if you got multiple system like test environment, production environment, staging environment, development environment, then you just need to configure one PSM server, and we can map multiple profiles here, one for production, second for staging, and so on. So with the help of that, only single PSM server will monitor all of your environments. So as you can see here, my host machine, it's giving me all the information about my host. So the host machine is C1CLT128. The OS which I am running is Windows 7. The IP address is local one. Then what is the physical memory of my machine? It's showing me as 16 gigs. And in the next section with the pictorial representation, it's telling me the CPU usage, the memory that has been occupied. In the memory, what are the page faults per second? That information can be tracked from this chart. What is the network utilization? How much disk space has been used? And finally, the processes. So the background method server, how much memory has been allocated and how much CPU it is consuming. That in my case it's 0.4%. So next process is method server. So how much memory it is consuming and how much CPU space it has been holding. So all that information can be seen here. So if you got multiple environments or a single environment with multiple hosts, if you have got the cluster environment, and if you have multiple hosts for that, like if you have 10 node cluster or 8 node cluster, so all the information about all the hosts will be shown here. You don't really need to go to the host machine and check whether there is adequate space or adequate disk space or how's the network utilization for that host. So all this information you don't need to go to the server, you can get it here in a single dashboard. This is the host information. This is the main tool of monitoring your host and your infrastructure. So as we talked about the dashboard, so as you can see, dashboard is the area which gives you the pictorial representation about the transactions. PTC come up with the out-of-the-box dashboards. We can create our own dashboard as a need, and we can use that dashboards. So these are some out-of-the-box dashboards which PTC has provided. So I will cover most of them. So if we go to the system health, it will give us the information about how the system is performing. In my case, So it took some time to refresh it. But as you can see, it gives us the pictorial representation of how the method server is performing, server manager is performing, then how much time has been spent on the transactions, what is the transaction count, and so on. So in this dashboard, different colors are used. So if everything is okay and everything is working as per the expectation, so it is giving us the green signal. So if you get the red signal over here, so that means something is fishy, and you can always click on that and you can go to the drill down method and what incident is causing it to be red. So you can always go to the transaction and check what exactly is happening over there. So this is the system health dashboard from which we can get the status of method server process, any file servers. If file servers are there, then it will also show the status for file servers. Next thing is user activity dashboard. So it will again take some time to refresh it. So till the time we will see the next one, which is cache dashboard, which is loaded at my end. It's giving, there are different cache for Windchill, as we already know. So it's giving us the percentage of how much cache has been occupied. So as you can see, the ACL cache has occupied 4%, and rest of the cache has contributed how much percent. It's giving us the information from there, and by that way we can track and we can fine tune the setting for the particular cache, and accordingly we can increase or decrease the property value of this cache. All those cache values can be defined in wt.properties, and we can fine tune our application. It will give us all the information about the cache method background, like which package has been used and which method has been called and how many times that method has been called. So if we want to fine tune the application, then we can easily get to know this particular method has contributed and we need to fine tune the code for this method. It gives all the information about the matrix, about the agents and the transactions that are being performed. So in my case, the ACL cache hit was for the 8 entries and the max hit count was 116, and it also shows us the information about how many misses, the success and miss ratio. So we can always drill down into that portion. So these are some of the dashboards which can be used for monitoring purpose. So next thing is, if you can see into the left hand corner where the mouse is, where I am holding the mouse, we have got another functionality saying business transaction. Then we can diagnose the performance. We can check the functional health. So if we go to the business transaction, so all the operations that we do usually with the application are listed over here, and with the help of this operation we can always drill down to the particular transactions and we can always drill to the particular issue. So these are some information. Since I haven't performed any of the activities, the data is not available. So if I perform particular and will drill down that operation and will check like how is it performing. So in my case, if I am checking in any particular object or checking out and checking in any object, then that thing will be covered. into the PSM, and PSM will track down that operation. So as you can see here, I have performed some of the actions, and it has been tracked here into the PSM portion. So I logged in as one user, and it gave me the all information about that user login. So I logged in with the username J, and it showed me like J used the Firefox, whatever is the version, and the IP address from where he logged in. So all that information has been captured over here. What is the average time that took for J to logging into the system has been monitored, that is 271 milliseconds. Whether that operation was succeeded or failed, that has also been captured here. So in my case, both the time it was succeed, so failure percent is 0%. Secondly, I logged in as WC admin user, and it gave me all information about WC admin user. Second thing, I did the check-in operations. I did multiple check-in operation with the username J, and I did one check-in operation with WC admin. So it gave me pictorial representation about like 2 check-in operation count, and it was done by user J. Next, 1 check-in operation, and it gives us nice pie chart from where we can easily recognize where the like which user has done which operations. So PTC has given us the built-in business transaction that we normally use, like create operation, checkout operation, cognos, login, npm link, part allocation, parts link operation, purge operation. So all the operations are covered here, and as per our need, suppose any purge operation has taken larger amount of time, or a particular operation of purge has been failed. So in that case, or in that scenario, we can go to the purge operation and we can drill down to that operation. So how to drill down to the particular transaction or operation? So if we see, there is a check-in operation performed by this user. If we right click on that operation, there is option of drill down, and from there we can get the transaction flow. As I saw you in my presentation, we can get the transaction flow for web request, and particularly for this request, method server contributed almost 73%, and the Oracle portion has contributed 26%. So how it is important, or how it will be helpful for you? So suppose if you want to measure the performance of the check-in operation, and you want your system to do the check-in operation within 20 milliseconds or 50 milliseconds, then you can set the threshold, and you can check here that method server has contributed most of its portion. So we can drill down to the method server methods, and we can always get to know like how we can improve the performance. So in order to do that, if we right click again and we go to the PurePath, so we'll get the idea of the PurePath. So PurePath is the terminology that is used with PSM. PurePath means the time since the user requested for any resource or any object till the time he gets back his response. The complete flow of that request is called as PurePath. So in this case, if we can say, so the PurePath will be from the web request till the time it comes to the method server, from method server to the database, and again back from database to method server, and till the time it serves the user request, the complete time taken or the complete flow of the transaction is called PurePath. So in this case, we get to know the PurePath. We can compare the PurePath of, as I said, like there were two operations, two check-in operations done by the user. So we can always check how the operations went and how much time it took. Also, we can get to the code level view of that operation. So in this case, we can see the execution time for this method was 145 seconds, and most of the time has been contributed by the service or the query thing. So we can always go back to this transaction and we can notify, or we can take the precautionary action by adding the indexes or by fine-tuning the code, and we can improve the performance of our operation. That was the transaction PurePath comparison. If we go to the PurePath of particular request, so in this case, the PurePath for this request, the check-in operation, it breaks down to the particular method, like which method took how much time, and what was the select statement that has been, or what was the database query that has been involved for doing the check-in operation. So we can always get to know about the database queries, and we can fine-tune those queries as well. The next thing is, in the drill down, we can go to the database hotspot, and we can get to know which query has been executed and which query took most of the time. So in this case, the select statement, as you can see, it contributed the 8% or the most of the time, 7% or 8%, and what is the query that we can get to know from here, and we can fine-tune that particular query with the help of PTC technical support by adding the indexes, or by by building more statistic of the database, or by any means. So this is how PSM works, and this is the main advantage. So to wrap up my session, we can say like there are main advantages of PSM by which we can monitor all the host or all the infrastructure which is available. We can configure single PSM server with multiple profiles, like production or whatever systems we are having. We can always have one PSM for all the system monitoring. Next thing is dashboards. PTC came up with the out-of-the-box dashboards by which we can get to know about the different operations and different processes. This is the application dashboard. So here we can see the API breakdown, which API took how much time. It gives us the nice pictorial representation. It also gives us the SQL as SQL which executed and which took most of the time. So by knowing this, we can go to the code level and we can fine tune our code as well as we can fine tune our application. So the dashboards are the next thing which we covered. Then with each profile, we have business transaction, we have performance parameters. So all those things we can take advantage. Like for business transaction, we can get to know there are different transactions or the operations which we can measure, like check-in operation, edit operation, folder navigation, logins, and all those things. Like this is the thing which is most important. We have operation over here which is web request 30 to 180 milliseconds. So the web request which took in between 30 to 180 milliseconds, it will be listed here. Web request which took less than 5 seconds or almost 5 seconds will be listed here. And by that way, we can drill down to the performance of the users. So this is the next advantage or the next working of the PSM. We can diagnose the performance. We can get to know the transaction flow. We can get to know about all the transactions that are happening over there, and we can always drill down to particular operation and we can fine tune it. So to wrap up the session, PSM is the helpful tool in order to diagnose the performance, in order to monitor the system, and it reduces the overheads of the administrative tasks which can be easily covered with the help of PSM.
Okay, thanks, Jayesh. Is that your full wrap up there?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay. Alrighty. We're actually going to switch to Nishan now, and he will go through Windchill ISO 9001:2015 compliance. Looks like we may go a little bit over, folks, on this. If you have to drop off, we totally understand, but we will send you a recording of the webcast at the end of the webcast. Nishan, you should have the, sure. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So is my screen?
Yes, your screen is showing. Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Matt. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nishant Kapoor. As Matt mentioned earlier, I work as a senior technical consultant with Barry-Wehmiller International. And the agenda for my session here today would be just to cover ISO 9001 series and what are the changes in 2015, followed up by how does it sync with the PLM world, especially with the PTC product suite. How can we achieve the necessary requirements of ISO certification? So, okay. To move forward, just to give first of all the overview, the ISO 9001 series describes the standards for quality management system, addressing the principles and processes surrounded basically by the product development process and post-service service section of it. So that basically involves your design, development, delivery, and service in the market. So how does it help you? It basically helps business and organization to be more efficient and work on improving the customer satisfaction. ISO 9001 certification is basically meant for all verticals and all industries, regardless of what kind of business you are doing, how much is your company size, and what is the nature of business. So as of today, the total number of ISO certified organizations is over 1.1 million, and that basically helps those companies to offer better products and services for their customer with better quality. Now, as I said before, that this ISO 9001 is basically primarily quality management system, and it's going on for, it started back in 1987, and then there has been a lot of revisions in that. It came up in 94, 2000, 2008, and this is the latest one, 2015. Now, in 2015, they made much more enhancements towards the risk management. How do you control your documents? The product level, the product. So we got 10 different plus a number dot its requirement. It's about the governance of the product. That is basically how do you control the documents and the records, followed up by the product design and product quality, which is basically we are talking about internal audits, non-conformances, corrective and preventive action, that, and along with the risk management. That is the main addition in 2015. So having said all those things, how does it help an organization? So if you are running, if you're having any other ISO certifications such as 13485, 16949, or AS9001, it supports all the derivatives of it, and it provides a uniform quality management system approach. What that means is that you have a better product of good quality, and you are by having this process implemented. Next one, PLM. The next one I'm going to talk about that how does this fit, this ISO requirements, how does it fit if you're using PLM system and you want to go ahead with the certification. So how does Windchill PLM can help you? So first I'm going to correlate with the mandatory requirements that's there in ISO 9001. The first one we discussed about the control, governance by the control of documents. So documents can be your standard operating procedures, documents. The next one was bill of material. Now that you know that there are so many CAD tools and I've seen various companies where they use multiple software. Next one is how do you handle the risk and reliability? So without doing, I mean, I would say rather than how do you do a proactive risk assessment of the product when you are manufacturing? So the BOM management and the change management process that you involve in between take care of that. Next one, we looked at performances of basically internal and external. So Windchill should have, your PLM software should have capabilities to capture both internal and external non-conformances of your product or from your suppliers. The next one is once you have non-conformances, how do you make sure that you are resolving your quality issues? So are you doing corrective actions and taking the preventive measurements in the system? And if you are doing that, are you making sure that it has been captured somewhere? So this one was CAPA, and the next one is the audits basically. So considering all these parameters, how do you take care of the audits in the system? Do you have proper control of documents which can be accessible by internal external group of the companies? So this all mandatory compulsions of ISO 9001 is coupled in a single PLM software, that is Windchill. And I just wanted to highlight one thing here, that the focus of some of you might be on ISO 9001, 2000 to move on 2015. So they focus on three major areas, really, how you are managing the change in the organization, how better you are doing the risk assessment on risk management on the products, and is the information available to all the stakeholders in the organization. These are the three main core requirements which PTC has put focus upon, then implementatory at ISO section as well. The first, control of document, control of records. So that's basically of your product. So we're taking preventive actions to reduce the risk, and then at the same time, finally, when products and such as Windchill PLM, then your software and using Windchill PLM as a single source of truth. So you have all the control, all stored inside the software, which ultimately where everybody in the organization can read. Document control and document of the records is usually taken care by PDM Link and Project Link, where you store your CAD structure, your CAD documents, your control procedures, quality records. And now with the latest enhancements, if people know about PTC integrity, so a lot of organizations are adopting that software where you can capture the voice of customer and translate down into your technical requirement documents or specification, or even for that matter, if you want to do a testing of the product and you want to control the documentation for it. I have seen various companies are using integrity for that, along with the software source code management, I beg your pardon. So PDM Link and Project Link basically for managing your document controls and the control of the records. Then we look at risk and reliability. So PTC does have a module called Windchill Quality Management System, which basically helps you to do risk analysis in terms of the FMEAs, DFMEA, PFMEAs, FRACAS, fault tree analysis, and that gets connected directly with your bill of material inside PDM Link. So quality is another module with PTC. And then there is one more section called WQS, which talks about quality only, but it majorly focuses on how do you capture the customer complaints or any non-conformances that can be risen from, that can rise from shop floor or any other place. How do you capture those things and evaluate those complaints or non-conformances? And if there is a requirement, how do you change it into the, how do you take corrective and preventive action? So it's a complete closed loop process which gets integrated with the change management of Windchill. So when we are looking at the requirements and the product where it fits in, you can probably realize by now that these products are cross-referenced to each other. So they talk with each other. When I say cross-reference, they are talking to each other. You are doing something in Windchill quality module, but it does have an impact with your bill of material inside PDM Link, right? So all these things are stored in one single place. So it's a one source for your quality analysis, your feedback, customer complaint, bill of materials, requirement documents, and finally you manage everything at a single location. So again, when you do your risk assessments and your changes, your corrective actions, it gets stored at one single place. So this is pretty much what I wanted to show in today's webcast. It's short, and I thought to keep it short for everyone, though not going into the software, because it's really a combination of multiple products to show here. How does it work together? But this is pretty much, I mean, the takeaway for this session would be that if you're on PDM Link and you might be using different softwares to manage your quality records or doing FMEA, PFMEA, you might have different tools. But the really advantage for any organization is that if you have a single source of truth for managing all your product-related data and information. If you keep it in a single place, that would definitely help you to make much better products. You can have reduced costs. You can increase your time to market. Sorry, reduce your time to market, and ultimately, gain more profit margins. So that's pretty much what it's all about.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nishant. We will actually, if folks, if you want to write in some questions now, we'll take any questions that you have. Let's see if we can answer all your questions as well. So. Okay, so it looks like first question is, what version of PSM you are using, 4.0 or 5.0?
Currently, I'm using PSM version 4.0. PSM version 5.0 long, but details version will do the task that you needed basically for. So yeah, currently I'm using 4.0.
Okay. One question from our good friend Mr. Banish Kumar. More than 70% of our Windchill users are CAD users. PSM, by the way, embedded and client.
That capability, or UEM does have that capability to see the browser performance thing, but as of now, there are I guess only PTC is showing the demo or webcast for the UEM. But as of now, I don't come across with any of the customer who is using UEM.
Okay. What is the timeline or duration implementing PSM?
So agents, PSM client. So these are the four the components of PSM. So PSM agents will be always reside onto the application side. So that particular thing will take hardly 10 or 15 minutes of downtime of your application. And for configuring the rest of the components, if you are installing it onto the different server, then it will take, depending on the all the parameters of implementation time.
One more. Can PSM be used for PTC integrity?
Yeah, PSM will be easily configurable with Indian customer which is using that, and their experience is very good about the integrity monitoring. And most performance and the application monitoring will be helpful. The integrity as well, so we can always configure.
Okay, thank you, Jace. One question kind of for you, Nishant, would be, how difficult is it to update to the Windchill ISO 9000? Is it difficult to update it? How long does it generally take to update?
It basically depends on what is the company looking for. If they want to, it's not associated with. So PTC has to be better reflect in the software their customers are using. So it really depends on what's the company objective, what is that they want to achieve, and then if they're thinking about going to 2015 version of ISO 9001, then they need to incorporate these kind of softwares they need to get onto this kind of modules so that have better connectivity and better compliance with the requirements.
Okay. Thank you. We're going to do a little final business kind of here. If you have any more questions, please feel free to type them in the question box, and we will answer them when we're done here. If you are looking to increase your either Windchill or Creo skills and kind of take them to the next level, we do provide PTC certified training in 6 training facilities throughout the U.S. We also do on-site training or virtual training as well. Feel free to browse our training schedule by visiting our website at b-wi.com/training. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to our National Training Manager, Joe Ferret, directly, and he will help you select any classes or answer any questions that you may have about the classes as well. And he can take care of you. Reminder, we do archive all of our webcasts on our website, b-wi.com/webcast, for you to view at a later date. Like I said, also we'll get an email here probably tomorrow as well with a copy of this recording. So with that, we'll work on wrapping it up. If you have any questions about today's webcast, send the technical questions to request to myself at matt.tognerelli@b-wi.com. My contact information is listed below. I'll be able to take care of any follow-up requests from this webcast. Thank you all for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you at our next webcast, November 4th. We will cover Creo Illustrate, and on November 17th, we'll actually do our next PLM webcast on options and variants. And again, everyone, thank you for attending, and have a great day. Thank you, Jeesh.
Thanks, Matt.